Have you ever started gaining momentum in an area of your life and then you hit a wall and then you just didn't keep moving forward? Maybe you started making lots of money, your business is growing, maybe you're seeing results in your health, in anything, and then you quit getting better. It's like, wow, I'm starting to go backwards now. Here's a tip. Always be green and growing. As soon as you become ripe, that means you've arrived. The next stage is rotten. You never want to arrive. You never want to think, I've got to figure it out. You know, the Bible also says pride comes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. And you know what a haughty spirit is? Haughty spirit, if I can talk, means pride. You think you're all that. You think you've arrived. You think you finally have it figured out. If we ever get to that stage, the next phase is going to be rotten. Think about that tomato. It's green, it's growing. You take it off the vine and then it gets soft, it gets squishy. And then what happens? Then it starts getting mildewy. It starts looking bad and it's like smelling bad. You don't ever want to get there. So here's what it says in John 15, 5 through 8. It says, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. Now that is Jesus talking. That's red letters. He says we need to stay connected to him. The good news is we're not like a tomato on a vine. It's our choice. We get to keep growing forever, for the rest of our lives. If you become bored, you just need to learn a little trick. You need to keep getting better. Marketing, it's the same thing. If you think you have it figured out, you better be careful, because you know what? Things are changing. The economy's changing. What people do changes. You always have to be learning and growing. So how do we do that? One thing that you want to think about is I need to feed good information in. You should be listening to audios, watching videos, getting better, learning the information, going to conferences. And you also need to be a reader. Readers are leaders. I heard that many, many years ago, and since then I have been a constant reader. Reading is different than even watching videos, because if you don't pay attention when you're reading, your mind wanders. You don't even know what you're reading. You have to go back and read it over and over. Well, it also trains your brain so you can concentrate. But whatever it is, you need to always keep putting good information in. However, here's a trap. A lot of people think because they're getting new information all the time, they're reading, they're attending trainings, they are always getting new information, that somehow they're going to become successful. That's a trap. New information alone will not help you succeed. When you apply that new information, you get it and you start applying it successfully, then you become successful. So I want to just use another example. Someone on my team and I, we were talking about getting some new software to help our company. And as we talked about it, we read about it. I've used software like that in the past and said, I know it's going to help us. And what their comment was, you know what? I don't know how it's going to work until we really get into it. And that's the truth. That's where you are growing, because you start applying that information. So don't think because you've read something or you have information, you're growing. You're just gathering information. When you start applying it, when you start taking actions, you start learning what works, what doesn't work, what you need to tweak. Maybe it doesn't do quite everything you thought, or maybe it does more than you thought, and you can use it differently. So always be green and growing, thinking about what you can be doing. But also you have to apply that information. So I want you to think about this one last thing. A good friend of mine, he was a former business partner. He basically he was in marketing, and he teamed up, and we had a marketing company, had two marketing companies together at one point in time. But you know what they would do? They would make tiny little tweaks in their marketing, but they would measure everything. And they were always growing. What works better? They were split testing a headline, an image, the background. And he said they improved hundreds of percents And he had teams of like 400 people working for him in one of the marketing companies he worked with. But you know how they improved hundreds of percent? 0.5%, 1%, 2% at a time. Because they were always green, they were always growing, always paying attention, always looking for the results, what's happening. So I want you to take an inventory of your own life right now. I want you to think about where is an area maybe you hit a wall and you're not getting better right now. Maybe you're going backwards. Well, remember, always be green and growing. Never become ripe, because after that, the next stage is rotten. But where are you starting to think you're ripe? Where have you quit reading those, let's say, marketing books or those business books or those self-improvement books or reading biblical books? Whatever it may be, don't think that you have it figured out. Where is it that you need to improve? Get clear on it right now. And then the next thing I want you to do is say, how can I put that into practice right away? Don't delay. Don't say, I'm going to put it into practice a day, a week, a month from now. Decide you're going to do something about it within the next 24 hours. If you do that, there's a very good chance you're going to gain momentum. If you think you're going to do it and you put it off, about 1 million things are going to happen. That's probably an exaggeration, but a lot of things are, and you may not ever get back to it. So make sure that you pay attention to what you need to keep getting better at, what you need to practice, what you need to learn, and decide what that is, and then plan on how you're going to take action today. So I hope this has helped you. And as always, remember to expect success. Thanks.